we're live, brother. How you doing, man?
Hey, I'm going to change it up. John S. has kind of figured out what we're talking about here. So he kind of went through here. I think he says the first thing he said in the comments is, "We're live. How you doing, brother?" ? And then he came back and he said, "I'll tell you what, doing real good after that win." So I'm going to change it up, man. That's exciting. That's exciting. I was during the half, I talked to Jeremy. I was like, I don't know when the last time we actually were up by 40 points, going into the half. And I started looking back at it. And I know they think they said 2005. That's what the Longhorn Network said. But I got to 2014 and I gave up. I know it had been a long time. It was all gas, no brakes. But I think I'm more excited about a couple of things. When we went into this game, there were a couple of things I wanted to look at. I called Jeremy. I said, we got to start fast. That's the first thing. Number 2, play discipline and physical. Number 3, play for all 4 quarters. Number 5 was dominate the day from the defensive front. So I want to dominate day from the defensive front. And then number 6 was push from the offensive line and 0 sacks, which I believe we got. I don't think we had any sacks. A couple of hits on Casey Thompson, but no sacks. And want to see some young linemen get some playing time. And I think the whole damn team played, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, just exciting, man. Just like you said, a first stress-free ball game in a long, long time. 44-0 at halftime. You sent the tweet out or the message out to say, hey, when's the last time this thing happened? 2005. But my encouragement comes from the run game. Bijan Robinson, 13 carries, 128. Roschon Johnson, 3 for 112. And that beautiful, wildcat, sweep around the outside. Keelan Robinson, 5 for 83 and busted 1 for 65. Like the explosive plays are back. 62, 72, 65-yard touchdowns. Jonathan Brooks comes in late in the game, 9 carries for 63 yards. We dominated the line of scrimmage, and this is what we have to continue to do. Casey Thompson came out 15 for 18 for 164, 2 touchdowns and 1 interception, but definitely controlled the line of scrimmage. Definitely controlled the line of scrimmage like we needed to.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is we're not. I don't want to get into the eaches. Obviously, this is going to be some good film to go back and watch this week. Last week was rough on me, but what I don't want to do is I don't want to get into who did what until I can actually go back and actually watch the film. This is going to be really big picture of what we've seen, and I think the defense. If people keep worried about this defense, it's hard to put 58 points on anybody in college football, and I think it's even harder to shut people out over 4 quarters. I don't care who you're playing. Go back and look at Ohio State today. You know what I'm saying? Against the Tulsa team. Go look at all these games that people are playing. I don't want to say that mantra that Tom Herman said, but it's hard to shut people out, and it's definitely hard to score 40 points at the half. So definitely, again, it's going to. I think we've had 13 red zone opportunities, and 14. I think because of the one at the end of the game, 14 red zone opportunities. Yeah, and you've kept them out of the end zone 11 times, and they've only scored a touchdown 3 times, and you've over 3 games. So definitely don't want to get into beating anybody up tonight. Definitely not going to do that. It was a hell of a victory, 58-0. Go ahead.
And at the same time, 14 red zone possessions for you, and you've scored 13 touchdowns out of those. And he was 13 for 13 until the last possession tonight when he just kind of ran the ball up the gut on 4th and 4, with young Jonathan Brooks. But yeah, so. Again, you lost Arkansas last week. You need to heal in a lot of different places. It was great to go out and beat a team 58-0, have a 44-0 lead at halftime that you're better than. Like Gamers Life said, explosive plays against the team we were supposed to have them against. That hasn't happened in a long time for the past many years. So, yeah, just go out and play your best brand of football each and every play. And that's what I told Clint earlier. I don't really care about the score. I care about, them getting better each and every possession. And they definitely showed it tonight. I was excited.
Yeah, I think what it does, it gives an opportunity for, I think one of the biggest pieces is that it was damn near out of hand in the 3rd quarter. And I called Jeremy and Jeremy nailed it. He was like, hey, I said, when do you pull Casey? We went in there and scored that first possession coming out of the half. And then they pulled him out and put Hudson Card in. I'm surprised we didn't see Charles Wright towards that 4th quarter. They put everybody else in. I'm surprised they didn't put Charles Wright in for a couple of snaps. There, but I think it gave an opportunity to put some more film together of actual game time for some of these linemen that people keep talking about. And Tyler Johnson, and Andre Carrick and Hayden Connor and held Logan Parr. And then Jalen Garth, I watched him literally pick up a defensive lineman and toss him. And then really, I think like a suplex move on the ground there. So I think those guys wanted to come out there and be physical. I think moving forward, that's what we're going to have to do. This is a good game to go into the Big 12 and have to play Texas Tech at home next week. But yeah, you can look at it as a glorified scrimmage, but there's a lot of teams out there that are having a difficult time against lesser opponents. And I think the biggest thing to take away from this is this is the first time we've done this in a long time against opponents you're supposed to be doing it to. If you always
played lesser teams close. And Isaiah kind of hits on the head like, hey, guys, the offense under Casey gave off a better vibe. You felt more relaxed, but I know defense pitched a shutout, but still sketchy. I don't know. But again, the defense did exactly what they're supposed to do and held the other team out of the end zone, held them to 0 points. And yes, I definitely felt more relaxed with Casey Thompson. I text Clint. I felt like that Steve Sarkisian at some points trusts Casey with the total playbook. Like he has the ability to run anything that the offense gives him because he understands Casey's confidence level. And whatever he gives him, he'll find a way. There was many times where Casey I felt like was under the same duress last week when Hudson was, and he found a way to get a first down. Like he tucked the ball in decisively, got to the first down marker, and moved the chains. And we scored 8 out of 9 possessions that he was in there. And the only time we didn't was when he threw the interception with the tip ball. So, like I said, He puts the ball in the end zone and scores points on just about every possession that he's been the quarterback of the University of Texas.
Every possession. I think we had 17 possessions tonight. What was some crazy number of drives? I'd have to go back and look at it, but it's crazy the amount of production that you get when he's on the field. It's never a wasted drive. Did we punt at all tonight? I don't think we punted at all. Nope.
Colleen was asking me, when's Isaac Pearson going to get in the game? Our buddy Isaac Pearson. I was like, because they took Justin or Cameron Dicker out for field goals to put Bert Auburn in the last couple of field goal or extra point attempts. And she was like, where's Isaac Pearson? Why does he get on the field? It's because we haven't had to punt. The only time we turned the ball over or didn't have to, we didn't score was the time that we turned the ball over on downs in the last possession of the ball game on 4th and 4, and then the time that he got a tipped interception. But, yeah, never had to punt the whole game.
Yeah, again, those running backs were it went from one to the other, from Bijan to Roschon back to Bijan again. And then Keelan Robinson came in for the second play from scrimmage and took it, 65 yards to the house. And then Jonathan Stewart came in, and was rolling over guys, man, which was really, really nice.
Jonathan Brooks is going to be a stud, dude.
Jonathan Stewart. Yeah. I don't know why I said Jonathan Stewart. I think he reminded me of Jonathan Stewart almost of the field.
Yeah. Oregon and Carolina running back.
I
get it. You're mixing guys, but yeah, he's spinning off guys, putting his hand on the ground, kind of like Bijan did in the spring game. Kept his balance and continued to run downfield. Yeah, he's a stud too. And you got 4 deep, man. We've got again 427 rushing yards. That's dominance. It's against Rice. I want to see it against Texas Tech, and then again in the Big 12. But your quarterbacks threw for 17 for 21, very efficient. 17 for 21, 4 incompletions, 193 yards, 2 touchdowns, and one interception. He had explosive plays all over the field: 62-yard run, 72-yard run, 65-yard run, 31-yard pass. Like that's what we need to see. Like that all gas, no brakes, get the ball in the end zone as quickly as you possibly can and turn it over to this defense who consequently shut Rice down.
Yeah, I think, when we got that interception, again, I take notes in between and to see how we handle specific situations. And we go down there to score real fast, which we needed to do because I don't know when the last time we've actually scored and got up on somebody 14-0. It's been a long time. And then obviously, Casey's arm gets hit. That ball flutters. They go down there and they get an interception. They drive it down there, and we stop them. Actually, blocked the first field goal. Didn't count. Pushed him back a little bit, and then he missed it left, and then turned around and went and scored again. That's something we have not seen consistently over time with any of these coach teams. Is to be able to take advantage of an opportunity of a missed field goal, turn around and go back down there and score, get up 14 points. And once you start rolling, it just kept rolling. It kept rolling all the way into halftime. 40 minutes for halftime was the winner of the game to me. It's not, what does he say? It's it's an always game, not a sometimes game.
Yep.
And to me, that's what it's about. And he came back out and he went to trying to score on him again. So definitely excited, about this game, and then hopefully we can take it and continue to build momentum moving into big football play starting Saturday with Texas.
Yeah, definitely agree. Because let me pull up this real quick. He says, I'm a bit lost on you guys saying we've been playing teams close. Nice to beat a team big. UTEP was our easy game last year, 59-3. We always blow out our out-of-conference games. Again, we're not saying that this is not a abnormality. What we're saying is they need to build on this. What we're saying is they haven't had a 44-0 lead at halftime since 2005. What we're saying is they need to continue to build, because people kind of crapped on them last week after the loss to Arkansas. What we're saying is you can't beat them up after a 58-0 win. That's what we're saying. So, and we hope that this continues to grow and that we don't take our foot off the gas, and we're continuing to beat teams consistently by 2 or 3 touchdowns, not necessarily 58-0, but we're at stretch with those teams that we feel like that we can beat by multiple touchdowns.
So I want to go through some of these. It's beautiful because we actually have screenshot some of these out of conference games, going back to 2014 when we really started with the last 2 coaches. University of North Texas, we were ranked number 24, beat them 38-7. We held a 21-point lead at halftime. Number 2 was Rice. We were ranked again number 24, I think it was number 24. Actually, we weren't ranked. We were leading at the half. You ready for this? 21-14 at the half against Rice. We wound up beating them 42-28. Talking about UTEP, let's talk about UTEP real quick. 47-7 was the final score there. Let's get what the score was at halftime. It was 20-7. That's what we're talking about, close games. Letting those guys stay in there. And then the biggest blowout we did have goes back to San Jose State on September 9th, 2017. It was 56-0. We led them at the half by 21 points, 21-0 against San Jose State, which beat our largest. And then Louisiana Tech, 45-14 on that score. So I was looking, trying to figure out when the last time we've been up since 40 points, and it was 2005.
And that's what I think these guys are trying to get to, or some guys are trying to get to, is fool's gold to real gold. I don't care about gold, dude. Like, I want to win every ball game by as many points as I possibly can and let this team improve, week in and week out. To me, it doesn't matter whether you think it's fake or real. What they have to do next Saturday is the same thing they did this Saturday, and that's line up against Texas Tech and play their best brand of football. So fool's gold to real gold, I don't know. Clint don't know. But what we do know is they're going to line up against Texas Tech next Saturday and try to play their best brand of football. And that's all we can hope for.
Yeah, I think it's not about going backwards. Again, I try to come in here with some kind of stats, some kind of, history of how we've done things and when we've done them. And again, this was a showing that we haven't seen in a while. There's chances that we would have been up 21, 28, and then all of a sudden we find ourselves in a shell, and then we're finding ourselves in close games. I'm glad that this coach is willing to put his foot on the throat. I think we were up 30. Was it 40? So it was 33-0 at one particular point in the second half, or in the first quarter or second quarter going into the half, and then we throw a touchdown pass, right?
Yeah,
with 19 seconds left on the clock. It was definitely nice. So, but yeah, you're right. I don't know about fool's gold. I don't know. I think what you need to do is you need to move forward with the same attitude that you played with tonight, and that's continuously put on the gas and try to score every opportunity you get. And again, going back to this Xavier Worthy thing, they were ready to get him started tonight. You think they were worried about him scheming against Jordan Whittington, and that's why they did that?
No, I have no idea. But what I'm looking at is 620 total yards on 62 plays for an average of 10 yards per play. So every snap that Texas State took, they got 10 yards from. Maybe so. But I just think Worthy's a different kind of guy, man. Like, you're going to have to double him up because he has the speed to beat any defensive back or boundary corner with his speed and his route running. So you're going to have to play a safety over the top, and he's just that good, man. And especially on scramble plays when Casey has to step out of the pocket with a guy like Xavier Worthy, he's going to find a way to get open, and Casey's going to hit him, and that's exactly what happened. Like you really didn't have to have a whole lot of passing when you're running for 10.4 yards per carry. 10.4 yards per carry, 427 rushing yards on 41 attempts, 10.4 yards per carry.
And I think the total numbers for penalties was one of the really good numbers.
We had two
penalties for 12 yards tonight.
Yeah,
2 penalties for 12 yards. So you out a team that comes in and that's what they want to do is play, penalty-free football. Want to run it on you the entire time. They actually had for 12 yards. Again, that's one of the things I wanted to have. I wanted to be physical. But also play discipline. And that's one of those things that they had tonight. They were actually playing, physical. And one of those holds, I think, was around the corner there.
Yeah, Clint's kind of locking up a little bit tonight.
Yeah, that's not good.
Yeah, you're good, dude.
Okay. Just kind of going through these notes here.
Who surprised you the most on offense or defense tonight? I'm not so sure there was any surprises for me. I was happy to see Wiley get in the end zone. And somebody commented in the chat. I did hop in there for just a few seconds to hear somebody say that Wiley finally got in the end zone, a guy that you guys have touted for a little bit. So I was happy to see that. On defense, 𝗟𝗚𝗞𝗘 continues to show out. I was just happy with the totality. It was so even. Like the players that you felt would make plays made plays. You felt like Casey was gonna go out there and do what Casey's done before, which is exactly what he did. So nothing really surprised me tonight. The final score kind of surprised me because prognosticators like us probably had it 40-17 or 40-20. 58-0 surprised me a little bit, but individual performances, not so much on my side.
No, I'm actually going through my head here trying to find someone. It felt like Thompson made some plays tonight. Maybe because that that fumble that he got, but
maybe Roschon busted one for a big gainer on in the Wildcat formation and coming back and just driving the ball down their throat. Like he got 118 yards on. Let me go back. 112 yards on 3 carries. Like that's pretty surprising. A 37.3 average per carry is pretty surprising. So maybe Roschon, but I've always felt Roschon was a NFL back to me. But
I think you're right. I think it's really the totality of it all. Defense and offense playing together. Again, it's going to be fun to go back and watch. It tomorrow on film and be able to rewind back and look at obviously. What sets they ran. I think there was a lot of 2 running back sets. For the most part, there was a lot of times there were 2 running backs on the field. A lot of time there was 2 tight ends on the field. I'm glad I got to see Ja'Tavion Sanders out there for the first time. He was actually throwing some blocks.
Keelan Robinson with the block punt and then the 65-yard touchdown. Yeah, and then they're talking about Byron Murphy with a tackle for loss, and then right the next play he gets a sack. Yeah, there were guys out there who played ball, man, and we were excited about it. But I think nobody really stood out because it's what you thought they would do against Rice. You don't take anything for granted, but at the same time, like I said, the score kind of surprised me, but the performance really didn't.
Green Valley 6 here. If Sark's looking for speed, why does he not figure out a way to get Keelan Robinson in? Talk about Jets, would be shocked how fast he is. I think he is. I think as you see, I think you'll see a lot of formations. It wouldn't surprise me if you didn't see Keelan line up in the slot in some plays, and all of a sudden you got Roschon, Bijan, and Keelan out there at the same time. It would not surprise me. But tonight you see more movement across the formation, it seemed like, than you had in previous 2 games.
But I think 8 and 7 are the same guy. When you're talking about motion in the backfield, I think with Xavier Worthy, they try to use him in that Devontae Smith kind of role. Not saying that you can't put Bijan and Keelan on the field at the same time, similar to the way you do Roschon and him, and have him do something else. But I think they use Xavier Worthy more in that Devontae Smith type role as a receiver who's going to reverse motion and come back and make the defense move and counteract. And that's what I'm saying. Like this kid is a freshman, his third game, 7 catches, 88 yards for 1 touchdown and 31 long of 31 yards, really accounted for himself. And I think that he's going to be somebody they're going to have to count for on film going forward. So it might open up lanes for who you're talking about. Maybe Keelan Robinson he was in that slot receiver on the other side. But yeah, just excited about the growth of this football team. Like you had your 2 best receivers, going into the season. You thought Josh Moore and Jordan Whittington get 2 catches for 29 yards, and you still found a way to score 58 points. Like legitimately, you had 17 catches for 193, and you still found a way to score 58 points.
Yeah. So Kieran Hickey, defense is such a bend don't break. It can get annoying. I get limiting big plays, but having not a Rice run for 5 yards to carry was pretty annoying. But I think they only threw for, I think going into that last quarter, halfway through that quarter, they had only given up 78 passing yards. And again, if you go back and look at what Pete Kwiatkowski's done over the years, it's he's going to give up rushing yards, but he minimizes those big plays. I'd rather them nickel and dime me down the field and have to make a mistake versus them hit me something over the top and have a big play, which we haven't seen a lot. I think we had one big play between all the 3 games, and I think it was that pass play at Arkansas. Obviously, KJ Henderson ran it, out of the pocket a couple of times, but I think as far as like throwing the ball over the top of us, I think it's only been 1 or 2 plays. So,
I'm interested to see the PFF stats or the PFF ranks for this weekend, because we've always dogged our pass defense, right? And we've always felt confident in our rush defense. They only rushed the ball for 156 yards. They only passed the ball for 128.
Yeah.
They only had 284 yards of total offense. Yeah, they had to play 4 quarterbacks because we injured the first 2. But at the same time, like the weakest link we felt like on the defensive side of the football was the pass defense. And they completed 19 for 24. Yeah, they completed the ball, but for an average of 5.3 yards per attempt.
5 yards per attempt.
Yeah. So 128 was the total. So I'll take that all day long. Again, you're going to play better teams than Rice. We know that. But at the same time, you got to take a 58-0 win and move on to Texas Tech, knowing that you've created a lot of playing time. Like, we felt like this was the last game you're probably going to get garbage time. After watching this football game today, maybe not. Maybe you're going to see other games that you can have the opportunity to blow out teams and see, depth play in the 3rd and 4th quarter. So just my thoughts.
Yeah, I think hindsight, me and Jeremy were talking about it, not go back to Arkansas. I think hindsight, there's a couple of things that we probably could have done from a defense schematic scheme and from an offense to think that that things could have probably gone the other way. But a loss is a loss. You take it, you learn from it, and then you go, like we did this week. They came in with an intent. It's an always game, not a sometimes a game, and move that on to hey, we're gonna enjoy this 58-0 win. There were some recruits there tonight, big time recruits, a couple of 5-star recruits there tonight. You can't go wrong with a 58-0 win. Hopefully, just take what we have and move it on to Big 12 play starting next Saturday. Yeah,
Brennan Thompson and Harold Perkins said like what they've seen. Harold Perkins with the shutout from Texas. But, yeah, it's great to perform on your home field the way we did tonight.
Yeah. So I think the biggest thing is I think there's obviously one position group on the offensive side of the ball. If you could get them up to, from average to good to keep getting better week after week after week, I think the sky's the limit for this offense because of the playmakers you have, because of the quarterback you currently have. That's running this offense. It just looks very, very comfortable. He's not going to overthink things. If he sees it, if he doesn't see it, he's going to run. If he does see something, he's usually going to pass it out to his playmakers as soon as he can to get the balls in their hand versus holding on to it. So
yeah, he sees a play in front of him and he makes the right play. He's done that since he came in against Colorado last year. I text you something I'm not going to say on air, but he reminds me of somebody in Texas recent history who always makes the right play. You know, it may not be, especially in his first start, you know, just comfortable, like sees it before him and finds out who the guy is to get the ball to and gets it out of his hands really, really quickly. And then if it's not there, he's decisive and runs the ball. Like I was very impressed with him tonight, and I'm not surprised that he played as well as he did. But I was really, really excited about what we got with him going forward. Again, you can't play much better quarterback than what he did tonight. 15 for 18 for 164. The tipped interception is the one play he'd probably like to have back. And if he had not gotten that play, he probably has a perfect passer rating with 3 incompletions and 2 touchdowns and no interceptions. But at the same time, something to learn from, you know, like get out. You're going to talk to your offensive line. You're going to pick up the protection. You're going to figure it out.
Yeah, I look at it as how you respond to the interception.
Yep.
You know, on the next drive.
Went right down the field and scored.
Went and scored again, you know. Yep. So, really exciting. Probably not going to stay on here much longer. It's one of those late games. I was telling Jeremy, I hate these 7 o'clock games. You're trying to find things throughout the day, trying to catch football games just lead up to your game and try to get out there and do some things leading up to the 7 o'clock game. But those are tough, man. Waiting all day to watch your team play. But any final thoughts?
No, just like we said over and over again, you know, 58-0 victory. What do you say after that? You know, we're going to go back and watch the tape and figure out, you know, what we did well, what we need to work on. It's on to Tech and it's on TCU. Guys are saying, prove it to me against the Big 12. And they're going to get an opportunity to do that just next Saturday. So, no, just excited about the win. You're at 2-1. You went out and did what you needed to do, which is dominate a football team that you're better than. But I think we dominated a team that we're better than by a little bit more than people thought we could accomplish. And so I'm happy about it and happy to go watch the postgame show, listen to Steve Sarkisian's postgame press conference, and hear what everybody else who gets paid to do this has to say about it, to be honest with you.
Yeah, we'll see where it winds up. Somebody said that Arkansas loss could be okay if Arkansas keeps winning. We'll figure out what Arkansas looks like this weekend.
Against A&M.
They got A&M this weekend. So we'll see what Arkansas looks like. I think Arkansas is a good team, man. They put up 300 yards, I think 600 yards on offense this weekend against their opponent. So I think it was like 300-plus yards rushing, 300 yards throwing the ball. But yeah, definitely excited to see where they go this season. All right. So we're gonna call it quits at this particular point. You can find us on Facebook at Texas Football Talk. You can find us on Instagram at Texas Football Talk, and on Twitter at TX Football Talk. We have a podcast. You can find it on any platform of your choice. All you got to do is Google Texas Football Talk podcast. We're part of the Pigskin Podcast Network. Go ahead, Jeremy.
No, so tonight we're going to drop the latest podcast on those networks. We're going to talk about the Casey Thompson starting quarterback. It's a little bit late because the game's already happened. But at the same time, we're going to talk about our views on Casey Thompson, how he grew from the Arkansas game, and a little bit of recruiting news. So that'll be happening probably in the next 15 minutes.
All righty. All right. Y'all have a wonderful rest of your weekend, and hook 'em.
Hook 'em.